I'm Emily Hiner. I am a ceramic artist and currently studying at Cornell College, getting my bachelor's in studio art.
Working with clay is a process. You start with powder. You mix water. You work the clay.
Just getting all the air pockets out of the piece.
You might press it. It might be thrown on a wheel. Maybe it gets cast in a mold. Then there are steps like glazing. It spends time in a kiln, and you end up with something beautiful, functional, useful.
And that's basically it for now. The slip will absorb into the plaster and it will start to sink, so I'll have to pour a little bit back in and then we'll come back to it and then I can dump it out. I usually let it set for about 20 minutes. Slip casting, I started doing it in high school, and I used a lot of Maria White's molds, who's my mentor. And I loved the idea of like mass production, and then, learning how to make molds when I got to college. I don't know, I just think that's such a fascinating process. It's a long, tedious process, and you gotta make sure every ingredient's right when you're making your plaster and when you're making your slip, but when it works out really, really nice. I wanted to enhance my mold making skills, so I thought, let's get something really complex. And so why do I think skulls are cool? I looked throughout art history in general, and skulls have different significances in different cultures. I don't know, I've just always found them just to be really neat. And so within the past 4 years, starting in 2020, I've had a lot of loss in my life, and I think in a weird way, this is kind of helping with that grieving process. And then smooth it out, which is always very satisfying. Ultimate dream would be to have my own commercial space where the front half would be a gallery of all items that I have made, where the other half of the building would be where I would have a studio space and I would work on and just make and be able to sell these things, but then also provide classes for anybody in the community, or to do one-on-one sessions with somebody who may just kind of need that time to talk and make art, and to have just that official business and be able to live off of it would be the dream. So working and doing tile work, you can actually do your own backsplashes for your kitchen or for sometimes bathroom, and then making sure that they kind of all dry together next to each other so they don't warp that way, and they just kind of fit nice. And a lot of people will just buy like simple bathroom tiles, or they'll buy those vinyl release sticky things, but I think it's a lot more fun on a handmade level because you can choose your own colors, your own designs. You can kind of get funky with the shapes that you decide to cut out. I'm gonna throw this down in the middle and pat it. And then a ton of water in the center. Back down. For me, ceramics or pottery or just working in clay is therapeutic or healing. Back up. I get to make something, an actual artwork, something that will outlive me, but then being able to give it to somebody else or to gift it onto somebody or make it in memory of somebody else. And it goes to a home and has a purpose or has a special meaning behind it. It could make somebody else's day. But just for my piece to have a function and maybe to help somebody else smile or just to feel better. And then it just also makes me feel better knowing that, you know, this little guy has a home, you know. Handcrafted versus the commercially made products. I think the reason why handmade is so much more significant is you know that that person put time, money, resources into making whatever it is that they end up making for you. I always add a personal touch whenever I do it, but handmade work, I don't know, just always, it just shows somebody that they care. It makes you feel good. The feelings that I encounter while I'm throwing can be a range. Some days it's just not a good day at all and pieces just keep flopping and I could get really frustrated. Other days I feel pretty good about myself. I feel, you know, successful and I feel like I made progress on something today or I was efficient. Well, with my work, I hope to kind of continue on a legacy of my mentor and all the other instructors that I've had over the years. senior exhibition, I really wanted to work on functional, utilitarian, things that you use every single day. And I had already did a project last year where I made over 200 mugs, and it was a real, confidence booster, and I felt really good about it, and had a good sale and a lot of supporters. And so I feel like with this exhibition I could really expand upon it. So I pushed myself to do sculptural pieces, stuff with just a little bit more detail, more using different non-traditional techniques such as using 3D printing and mold making, and but all of it to come together to make one piece that serves a purpose. And whether it's a piece to put your flowers in, or something you just throw your keys into to drink out of, or to hold your toothpaste in the morning. It could be anything. But to create something that everybody could have a purpose and use for. And so with my exhibition space being kind of like that future dream of having a commercial side and a studio side, to have all these things that people could come in and use and potentially find a function for is ideally what I'm striving for.